Hi guys, welcome back to another wonderful adventure in handwriting. So for this week we're going to be looking at the letter R and the branching stroke. First thing we need to do is our handwriting rhyme. So let's start with 1, 2, 3, 4. Are my feet flat on the floor? Remember, if you can't reach the floor, just please don't swing your feet around, keep them nice and still. 5, 6, 7, 8. Is my back up nice and straight? So are you sitting with a nice straight back? Is your chair tucked in? 9, 10, 11, 12. This is how my pencil is held. So remember, we use our thumb over on the top. We use our second finger over here, and we've got our third finger. So it's a bit like a triangle. Okay, and normally I talk to you about what kind of pencil you should use at the end, but I think today just make sure that you are using an HB pencil. Okay, if you're using a 2B pencil or higher, then that pencil might be a bit too dark for handwriting. 13, 14, 15, 16. Now I'm ready to start my writing. And remember, the hand that you don't write with rests on your page. Let's zoom in. Remember, we always start off the same way. We start off with the long date. So please make sure that when you are watching, or you're asked to watch, that's what you're doing, that you're watching the board really carefully and watching the direction, how I move my hand. Where do I start? Okay, am I starting on dotted lines? Am I starting on solid lines? Which lines am I touching? So lots of things that you have to carefully watch for. When I ask you to write, then it will be time to write. So for now, watching. I'm going to start with T because Tuesday starts with T. It's a capital T. And remember, we're starting close over to the left. All right, now my page is torn off, but yours will still be in your book. So if you start over here, you will run out of room. And I've seen it happen. So let's start as far over to the left as we can, but with space to top our T. Okay, so I'm going to start here, on the dotted line, watching me. I'm going down, taking my pencil off the page, and then I'm crossing that. Your turn. Okay, and eyes are back up on the board because we're going to do U. Watch me first. So U starts on that top solid line and it goes down, it curves around, touching the bottom solid line, comes up, touches that top solid line, goes back down, touches the bottom solid line. Your turn. Okay, now for E. Please watch with E because I noticed that some students are still not quite getting E. E is a bit trickier because it starts in between, and when we get to the bottom of E, you have to make sure you curve up a bit. So watching me, I start in between the two solid lines, I come up, I curve it and touch that top solid line. Then I come down and I'm curving it and bringing it up a little bit and letting go. Okay, particularly pay attention to that part. Okay, that little sort of kind of curve going up there, because I'm noticing a lot of students are not always doing that. Your turn. Okay, now for the S. So watching me, I'm going to start just below that top solid line, putting my pencil on the page, and I'm curving up, touching the line, curving downward, touching the bottom line. There we go, and taking it off. Your turn. Okay, now I'm going to write day. Please watch me. I'm going to write the whole word day. You're going to watch me write the whole word day, and then it will be your turn. So watching me, remember we start on that top solid line, we go around and down, rounding the bottom, coming up, and making sure we go back down that line. Okay, and please make sure you notice that this lovely head of our letter, it comes up and it touches that top dotted line. You're not doing it yet though, you're just watching. So I'm starting over here now for my A. I'm going around just like I did for the D, coming up, but I'm not going up any further, and I'm coming down. And you're going to watch me do the last one. So Y, touching there, going down, curving. That's day. Your turn to write day. Wonderful. All right, I'm going to leave a finger space because now, let me zoom out just a little bit, because now I'm going to write the date, or the number day of the month. So it is the 11th day of August. So I'm going to leave that finger space. I'm going to start up here on that top dotted line. And I'm going to go straight down, touch the bottom solid line. Straight down, touch the bottom solid line. Remember, you're watching. And then I'm going to do the TH. Down, branching out, around, let go. Your turn to write 11th. Okay, so now I'm leaving a space, a finger space, and I'm going to write the word of. Watching me, particularly for how we write our F, okay, because I've noticed some people writing it from the bottom. Do not start at the bottom, please, always start from the top. So I'm leaving that space. I'm coming over here to the right a little bit because I've got to start over here and go to the left, curving down, curving the bottom, coming back up and joining. Okay, so watching me, still watching, and with the F, I'm starting below the dotted line, curving it up, coming down, taking it off and crossing it. Your turn. Okay. Leaving another finger space, we're going to write August. So please watching me first, particularly for that capital A. So capital A starts on the top dotted line and you're watching, and we go down diagonally to the left. We take our pencil off the page, so that's stroke number 1. Stroke number 2 comes back up here and goes down this way. So that's number 2, and then this is number 3, crossing from left to right. So left to right. Okay, your turn to write capital A. Don't forget your finger space. Okay, now I'm going to write the U and the G, so please watch me carefully. So here's U, so top solid line going down, up, down. Oh, sorry, my pen didn't quite work there. And then the G watching me. Remember, it's just like A. Looks like I'm making an A, but then I go down and I curve the bottom. Okay, your turn to write the U and the G. Alright, now I'm going to write the rest of August. So August has the word us in it. So watching me, I'm going to do a U again. You've seen quite a few U's, but it doesn't hurt to watch one more time. And S. Curving, curving. Can you write us? And finally the T. Starting at the top dotted line, going down, taking it off, left to right. Okay, now I do have a bit of room left, which is wonderful. Hopefully you've written your T. I'm now going to write my comma and the year. So remember, the comma comes pretty close to the last letter. It's not on top of it. It's not too far away though. It's just in close, like that. It's just a little quick kind of movement. It's not massive either though, guys, so have a look. It starts just above that bottom solid line and goes down about halfway. Alright, it doesn't go all the way down to the bottom, to the top dotted line. Okay, and I'm going to leave a finger space. I'm going to write my 2020. So watching me really carefully, I start below that top dotted line and I come up and around and down and across. Might zoom in just a bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to do my 0. Now please watch. I've been watching some of my lovely guys, and some of us are doing this, where they're going, okay, so this is way too skinny. Some of us are doing this. That is way too big. Okay, so the problem is with this one, they're not going out far enough when they're going around, and with this one, they're going too far out. So it's like this. So round to the left, down. Okay, coming back up. It's a bit like a face. Okay, so we don't want a really, really skinny little face. We don't really want a large face. We just want a medium kind of face. Okay, so this is the one we would like with our 0. Oops, made a bit of a mark. That's okay, you won't do that. Okay, so I'm going to do my 0. So watching, going around, down, up. There we go. And I'll do that again, watching me, because it's one more chance for you to watch. Now I don't have a lot of room, so I'm going to have to really pack that one in there. Oh, okay. I think too, because I'm using a marker, so you guys, it shouldn't happen like that for you, because you would be using a pencil and your lines won't be as thick as mine. And you've got small fingers too. I got grown-up sized fingers, but you've got children-sized fingers. So we've got our long date, Tuesday, 11th of August, 2020. All right, we are going to work on the letter R. R is a great letter. It's one of my favourite letters. So watching really, really carefully, because it is a bit tricky. Even I got tricked and had to do this video again. So when we write our uppercase R, it's 2 strokes. Okay, 2 strokes. When I say 2 strokes, I mean we do 1 stroke and we take our pencil off the page. Then we do our 2nd stroke. Okay, so watching me first, please have everything out of your hands. Really important you watch so you don't get fooled. Alright, so I'm starting at the top dotted line and I'm going down and touching the bottom solid line, taking my pencil off the page. Okay, so it's like you're doing an L or a capital I or a 1. But then you're going to come back to here, you're going to put your pencil back down, and watching me, we make the lovely loop like we have on a P. See, it looks like a P, but we keep our pencil on the page and we make this nice kick. Okay. Looks a bit like a person, actually, you know, like a couple of legs and some sort of body there. I'm going to leave a finger space and I'm going to do that again. So watching me carefully, I'm going to go down, take my pencil off the page, come back up, touch that again, go around, keep it on, keep it on, keep it on, keep it on, keep it on. Take it off. Okay. I'm going to leave another. Now you guys, you can keep going with your row. I'm going to keep going with mine. Take your time though, okay? This is not a race. We're using this special time each week so that we can get to know letters better, how to make them, how to write them, how to control our pencil and have control over it. And we're trying to build all the muscles in our hands, and we're trying to get our eyes and our brain to talk to our hands as well. And the great thing is that when you learn how to form your letters properly, it means that you can then do this anytime you write. If you know how to form your letters properly, then when you do writing with your teacher or even some writing by yourself, your writing will be clear enough for anyone to read. Okay, make sure you're sitting up straight as well. Remember, we shouldn't be cuddling our work. Okay, if you're cuddling your work or your book, then you might end up with a sore back. There we go. I've finished my row of capital R, and there they are. Great, I'm liking them. They're all looking very similar to each other. I can see that I've left equal spaces between each one, and I made sure I used my finger. I can see they're all touching the correct lines as well, so I'm happy with those. I can see too that the loop I've left in them are about the same, because you want to try and keep them pretty much the same. You don't want to have skinny ones and really wide ones, and yeah, you don't want that. All right, we're going to go to the third set of lines, and I'm going to zoom in. So this time we're going to focus on lowercase r. Now lowercase r has that lovely branching stroke that I showed you last week. So watching me, please. We're not writing, we're just learning right now. I'm putting my pen on that top solid line. Now watch me carefully. I'm going to go down. I'm going to touch the bottom solid line. I'm going to come up and I'm going to start branching about halfway. And then I'm going to make a nice little curve. Okay. Now, something you should see happening is this lovely little triangle. If you can see a lovely little triangle happening, then yeah, you're doing it right. Okay, you should start seeing that occurring. You've got to make sure too though that you've got that little curve there. Okay, I'll do another one to show you what I mean. So I'm going down, up, curving out, branching out, little curve. Okay, little curve. Because again, sometimes people will do this. I've seen people do this where they go okay, so as you can see, there's no lovely little triangle here. Okay, we want that lovely triangle happening. And some people forget to do this nice little curve, and then they do this. Okay, that's not an R, guys. That's a branch. That's a tree that's had its bits and pieces snapped off. Okay, so this is what we're going for. We want a bit of a curve and we want that nice little triangle happening in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to keep going with mine. You keep going with yours. Remember though, take your time. Okay, you're trying to get it as close to these as possible. That means you want to make them look as much like these ones as you can. Okay, and like I said last week, the branch is really important to master. That means to get right, because you use the branch in lots and lots of letters. You use it in R, you use it in N and M and P and B and H. So there are heaps of letters that you use the branch stroke in. So let's try and get that now. There we go. So I've completed my row. There we are. There we go. So I've got my row of lowercase, sorry, long date, uppercase, lowercase. All right. So now I'm going to move on to the combination. So remember, the combination is one capital and one lowercase. So one uppercase, one lowercase. So non-writing hand is resting on my page. Okay, I'm starting over on the left. You don't, guys, when you're starting from right from the edge, you do not need to leave a finger space. Okay. All right, so watching me, so everything out of your hands, looking to the board. I'm starting at that top dotted line. and I'm going down to the bottom solid line. I'm taking my pencil off the page, coming back to here, and I'm going around, making that nice loop, keeping my pencil on the page, and then coming down for that diagonal line. Then, still watching, I'm starting on the top solid line, I'm going down, up, branching, little curve. Okay. R. I'm going to leave a finger space. You're still watching though, okay? I haven't asked you to pick your pencil up yet. So I'm going to start here, I'm going to go down, take it off. I'm going to come up here, go round and down diagonally. I'm going to take it off. Okay, now I'm going to start here on the top solid line, go down, come up, branch, little curve. Alright, so it'll look like that. Remember to leave your finger spaces. I'm going to keep going and I'm going to fill out my line, but I'm going to take my time. Now if I seem a little quick, guys, remember I have been alive a lot longer than you, which means I've had more practice. Okay, so if you're thinking, oh, it's so quick and I can't keep up, it's okay. You're still learning how to do this. It takes time. I wasn't always great at handwriting. I remember doing handwriting when I was at primary school. And I remember sometimes finding it quite difficult. And back then, I think it was even harder. We used to have a special card that we had to put behind our page, and we had to make our letters lean. You're lucky you don't have to do so much of that anymore. All right, now I don't have enough. I've got to use my brain. I've got to think, is there enough room here to write another combination? No, there's not. Okay, so now I've got my lovely long date, my row of uppercase R, my row of lowercase r, and my row of the combination. So now we get on to our final line, our final row, and that's our lovely wordplay line, the line where we put suffixes on the end of our words and we change the word. So let's grab our, what we call our base word. So our base word is the word we start with. Okay, so the word we're going to start with, and I'm not sure if it's in your spelling this week. It might be. If it's not, it could be. Is the word right. So watching me, please. Okay, so right. R, I, so down and a dot. G, remember like an A, with a curve. H starts on that top dotted line, branching out, curving around. T. Great. Could you please write the word right? Ooh, right is a homophone. There's a couple of different kinds of right. Actually, there's a few, more than a couple. There's right, as in I'm going to write a letter. That's spelled W-R-I-T-E. And then there's this right, which could mean you're correct, you're right. Or it could also mean the right side, like left and right. Cool word. And as you can see in right, there's this lovely I-G-H with a T. Okay, and that I-G-H makes the long I sound. I-T. Okay, this is important to learn because if you can spell this, then you can spell words like light and night, the nighttime night and the night from a long time ago, medieval times. You can spell the word fight or fright or bright. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of words you can spell if you learn that I-G-H-T pattern. All right, we're going to put a suffix on the end of our word. So we're going to put fully on the end of our word. So we're going to have right fully. So watching me first, I'm going to go R. Sorry, mine came out a little light. So still watching me, going down, up, yep. It's a good time to watch me actually, because then you get to see how to write the word right again. Okay. So that's right. Could you write the word right? And after you've written that, then we're going to add the suffix. And if you finish, then just sit there with your arms folded, because we'll write the suffix very shortly. Not everybody works at the same speed. Okay, so this is right, and it's going to become right fully. So if you know how to spell the word full, well, awesome. And then you just have to put a Y on the end. But watching me, so I'm doing an F, I'm starting just under that dotted line, coming around, down, crossing left to right. U, which we've practiced a lot. Now L, simple, down, down. Just make sure it's from the top dotted line. And then the Y. Right, fully, rightfully. And that Y is making an E sound. I think it's because fully is a two-syllable word. Fully. And when it's a two-syllable word, or a two-syllable suffix, and you can hear an E on the end, well, it's actually going to be a letter Y. Rightfully. Rightfully is a word used when something truly belongs to a person, but no one knew that it did. That's a bit of a tricky one to explain, but for example, if you have people battling or fighting to be the king or the queen, and you might find out who the true one is, and they might say, the crown is rightfully mine. That means it's truthfully mine. It belongs to me. It's rightfully mine. It's not a word we would use every day, but it is a word you might come across, even in fairy tales. Okay, I'm going to leave a space. Now remember, we're going to use that base word again. The word is right. So I'm going to write that again. So your turn to write that. And guys, I think we might need to make that our last word, because I had planned for 4 words, but we are starting to run out of space. Okay, now this time we're going to add the suffix ed, watching me. In between the two, coming around, down, up, and D, like an A, comes up to the top dotted line, comes down, righted. Now it's important to talk about this one, because sometimes I hear people saying, I righted my words. And, sorry guys, but if you've written your words, you would say written. When we've done our writing, we don't say that we've righted our words. We would say, I have written my words. There is a word that is called righted though. Righted is like when something's gone wrong, but you fixed it. You've righted the wrong. Again, it's not a word we use often, but it is a word that you might hear sometime. You might come across. And again, it's some of that language you might even find in fairy tales. Okay. I'm going to zoom out. See, I don't have a lot of space left. So even if I put my finger there, I only have a very small space left. I don't think I could write any of these long words again. Okay, so zooming out. Oh, I might pick this up so you can see the whole a whole lot because I've zoomed out as much as I can. Well done. You have completed another week of handwriting. So we've got our long date. We've got uppercase R, also known as capital R. We have lowercase r, sometimes called little r. We've got our lovely combination. And we have our base word and 2 of our words with a suffix. Now, remember, we're not finished yet. We have to ask ourselves some questions like finger spaces. Do I have finger spaces that are all the same size? So have a look at your work and think, are my finger spaces all the same size? Are they a bit too skinny? Are they a bit too wide? Are they just right? It's a bit like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. So you're looking for the just right kind of space. Think about where you put your letters on the lines. Are they on the same lines that we've done together on the interactive whiteboard? And finally, think about how hard you're pushing on your paper. How hard you're pushing your pencil down into your paper. If your writing is very dark, then maybe you're pressing a bit too hard. You could also be using the wrong kind of pencil, but I think you checked at the start, didn't you? So, well done, and a big pat on the back. Make sure you listen to your teacher now, because you need to know what you're going to do with your book now that you're finished for this week. Bye.